Welcome into Story Behind the Story here on KZLX and KNWT Channel 8. We are broadcasting live from Student Media Day at the Student Union. I'm Devin Albertson, the KZLX Sports Director, and I'm joined by Assistant Northwest Missourian Sports Editor Joseph Andrews. And Joe, this week the big story is Maryville Madness with the Central Regional Tournament coming back to Maryville for a second consecutive year. What did Coach McCollum say about the significance to this game coming back to Maryville for the seniors and for him?
They said it's really, really big for them. Have that home court advantage. He said pretty much last year, second straight year now, that helped them really propel through it. Obviously, they struggled in that first round game, but he said overall after that first round game and even in that championship game, it really helped them. And he said it's just big to have the people come to this campus for them to see everything about Northwest.
Exactly, and it's huge there. I mean, the last home game Northwest had was a loss on senior day to Missouri Southern. So I think the guys want to get that bad taste out of their mouth a little bit. I think they've been kind of talking about that a little bit as well, haven't they?
Yeah, a tag bit. They haven't been trying to focus too much on that. One thing last week at the MIAA tournament that they mentioned a whole bunch is to eliminate the distractions, eliminate the distractions that hurt them from preparing for the game. So a lot of the guys mentioned that from the point that the tournament starts to the point that they're running the tournament ends, they turn off their phones. They don't turn it on. They don't get on social media, anything like that.
And, of course, this is a really tough regional. We'll start with the first round game versus Minnesota State Mankato. Of course, it's Joey Wittes transferred from there, played his first 2 years of his collegiate career there. He's playing against his former teammates. The team also has a couple guys who transferred from Missouri Southern, so a lot of familiarity with these two teams. Don't play each other ever, but they still have some familiar faces on each side. What do you expect of this first round matchup there on Saturday night?
Well, I think the one thing you mentioned was Joey Wittes. Coach McCollum, when we asked him if that's any extra motivation for Joey, he said they're really trying to contain that down. They don't want it to be a distraction, really. They don't want it to be that really the overall.
They don't want it to be the main storyline.
Yeah, they don't want it to be that main storyline. They don't want him to go in having this idea that he's going to put 20 points up on his old team. They want him to go in, focused, and ready to be an active member of
They
that
want it
team.
to happen organically, so it's Northwest versus Minnesota State, not Joey Wittes versus Minnesota State. That's a good attitude to have there. And, of course, the rest of this region is really tough, too. Missouri Southern versus Southwest Minnesota State in the first round. The winner of that game could play Northwest. And, of course, Southwest last year, they rated the regional championship game. Northwest gave them a run for their money. As you said there last year, 2,300 fans showed up for that game. And then, of course, Missouri Southern beats Northwest 3 of the last 4 times they've played. So either way, Northwest could get a really difficult second-round draw.
Yeah, either way, it's going to be good. That motivation of having Missouri Southern here, maybe getting that win for them finally, but also knowing I don't think they want to focus on that they haven't beaten them at all this year, because that's that one distraction. One distraction in this tournament can be the end of a run for them, really, overall.
So it could be a really difficult second-round matchup. 2 good point guards of both those teams, Ryan Bruggeman for Southwest Minnesota State, and, of course, C.J. Carr from Missouri Southern, both really dynamic scorers. And then if you look at the other side, Southern Nazarene, number 8 in the nation, Northern State, number 6. So if Northwest can somehow get through the first 2 rounds, you're playing a top 10 team, most likely in the nation, in that championship game. So in my opinion, this is one of the most difficult regions we've seen in recent years, so it should be really difficult for Northwest to come out, but with that home crowd, they should have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing Coach McCollum mentioned. He said this year, the regional committee, including himself, got this 1 through 8 right. He said if you would have gone around from team to team across the region, that this 1 through 8 would have been the 1 through 8. He said that speaks to the competitiveness of this region this year. That speaks to just how in-depth that these 8 teams are. And he said, really, at this point, it's anybody's run.
When you have Washburn as a 7 seed, you know the tournament's really solid. Of course, even St. Cloud is a 6 seed. They have a kid named Gage Davis who's really dynamic scorer up there. So it should be interesting to see how this tournament comes out. Of course, Justin Pitts. We've talked about Endow before, but we looked like Endow is healthy now. He had a double-double in the championship game. He was huge on the stretch there. But Justin Pitts, it looks like a foot, turf toe. We're not really sure exactly what, but what did they say about his eligibility for this tournament this weekend?
They think he's probably ready to go.
Okay, so don't worry, Bearcat fans, he's playing.
Yeah, that was as of Tuesday. They said really the only reason he wouldn't play is he got injured in practice. I don't know if that was them trying to eliminate the talk of it, but also at the same time, those first 2 games of the tournament, Justin Picks looked like the old Justin Picks. His foot started bothering him. in that third game, but I think a part of that was the fatigue of the weekend too. He was he was the face of the team for those first 2 games.
I mean, you go from not playing really a lot for 2-3 weeks to playing 3 games in 3 days. That's a big change there. And there's one back-to-back in this tournament, Saturday, Sunday, then you have a day off before the game on Tuesday. So I think he should be good. I think a lot of that's on the championship game was the wear and tear of 3 straight days on that foot, and they wasn't used to it. So it looks like Pitts will be ready to go and ready to play. Of course, he also, was the most outstanding player by only scoring 3 points in the championship game, but because of what he did in the first 2 games, that's why he was able to get what he did. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have arts and entertainment with Angela Luna here on Story Behind the Story.
Welcome back to Story Behind the Story at the Student Union at Student Media Day, and I'm your host, Angela Luna. I am here with James Christensen. We're going to talk about his story. How are we doing today?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So you did a story about the Clothesline project, correct?
Yes.
So now you want to give us a little brief intro about it?
So the Clothesline project is a project that was started in the 1990s in Massachusetts. It is a project to help raise awareness for relationship and dating violence. It was sponsored here on our campus this year by CARE, which is a group that is ran out of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office. It's just a process of painting T-shirts with like positive messages of support to victims, as well as sharing thoughts on how that type of violence should be stopped. And it's part of our Green Dot program here on campus, so it's a really cool social project. All the T-shirts will be displayed outside the bell tower at the end of the month. So everyone will get to come see them, see the different messages of support, and it's a great way to spread the information on a topic that's something that we have to deal a lot with on a college campus.
Right now, did you get possibly any interviews for it?
I did interview 2 people. I interviewed Danielle Kuntz, the Green Dot coordinator, as well as the advisor to CARE. I had worked with her previously on the Clothesline project last year. One of the organizations I was in participated. And I just sat down and had a conversation with her, talked about why it was so important to bring it back to our campus. And then I also had an interview with Shyla Kalhoff. She's a member of CARE and as well as a Green Dot certified bystander, who also wanted to express the importance of this project and how getting this message out is the best way to get that into our minds and start having those conversations.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to those topics at all, was it kind of a little difficult to get kind of some content with that? You know, it is a touchy subject, and does it go hand in hand with like the Me Too movement going on?
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult when a couple people that I had reached out to because I knew they'd participated in the project, mainly because of the news story from KNWT. I was like, okay, might want to reach out to these people. A couple people were like, that this is a really hard topic for them to want to talk about because, like you said, it is such a important topic, and it's something that as college students we experience a lot on a regular basis. So that kind of factored into getting interviews, but not a whole lot. A lot of people that I talked to were really interested in getting their message out there.
That's awesome. That's good. And then I know right now it's also the Karen Hawkins group. Has any of the women of Tri Sigma by chance participated?
Not that I'm aware of, but I do know there are still a couple more opportunities to paint T-shirts coming up. When I talked to Danielle, she said that they will have a booth at Bobby Palooza next week, which is the pre-spring break festival at the Bell Tower. They'll have a station there where you can come and paint a T-shirt. Or if you would like to do it in a more one-on-one setting, Danielle said if you want to just shoot her an email, you can come into her office and paint a T-shirt there. They have over 100 T-shirts left that can be painted. There's a whole bunch of supplies. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and go out and show your support.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, James, for being on today. Yep. When we come back, Devin's going to come back and discuss some more sports, only on here with Story Behind the Story.
And welcome back into Story Behind the Story here on KZLX and KNWT Channel 8. We are broadcasting live from the Student Media Day at the Student Union. I'm Devin Albertson, KZLX Sports Director, and I'm joined by Joseph Andrews, the Northwest Missourian Assistant Sports Editor. And we already talked about the tournament earlier. Now it's time for the money part of it because money drives a lot of things here in Maryville. And last year this tournament brought quite a bit of money into town. What did the general manager of the city say about this tournament and how much money it brings to Maryville?
Yeah, sports editor Isaiah Swan spoke with Greg yesterday afternoon, and he really just mentioned that this tournament is huge for all the local stuff, all the local businesses, but also it also helps apply to the different stuff, which is also supporting Northwest, the Hughes Fieldhouse complex. All the people that are coming into town for Maryville are probably, a lot of them are probably staying in a hotel right here in Maryville.
And you talk about the hotels there. I know Isaiah Swan tweeted out earlier today how many hotels have you heard rooms are still available? Like if I wanted to get a room right now, what was my chances to actually get a room here in Maryville?
As of 9 a.m. yesterday, there was 15 rooms remaining in Maryville.
Wow.
Boulder and Suites out in Lake Mazingo, that was all full for this weekend. And that has about 40 rooms, I believe, so.
A pretty good crowd coming in,
pretty
at least for this weekend, with 7 other teams coming into Maryville and all their fans and, of course, stuff like that. So you see hotels get more business. You see restaurants in town get an uptick. You see restaurants, people actually out and about a little bit more in Maryville. So it's good to see Maryville kind of popping at this point of the year. And we saw it last year as well. And I think people around Northwest are thinking, you know what, if we get this momentum going, you can see the same thing for a track meet at the Hughes Fieldhouse whenever that comes into play.
Yeah, I think so. And that's really – Coach Churchman mentioned to Isaiah that these regional tournaments are only the beginning of the economic impact which Northwest Athletics is bringing. Obviously, there has been economic impact for a year with the rise of the football program and now the basketball program. But he said with the Hughes Fieldhouse, the growth is only going to continue building.
And of course, we know all the hotels are being sold out. What about the actual games? Are the sessions starting to pretty much fill up for at least the Northwest sessions?
Yeah, Sports Information Director Marshall Fay mentioned at Tuesday's media luncheon that basically if you want a ticket, you might as well just get them online because more than likely, if you come to Bearcat Arena, come Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, Tuesday evening, that there won't be tickets available. So the athletic department strongly recommends that you get them as soon as possible. And I don't even know how many are left now, but he really just go, if you haven't got them yet and you want to go, I'd go get them right now.
You don't want to come to the Bearcat Arena, get there and be like, sorry, we're sold out, and they get turned away and have to go home and watch it at home. I know we'll have a good broadcast for people at home, but at the same point, like if you want to actually see the team in person, get your tickets early, get to the games early so you have plenty of time to get a seat, to find a seat. I know last year had some standing room only, 2,300 people for the championship game. I think it's more of the same atmosphere this year. I think Northwest is also ready for the environment that's coming to town this year after like the initial hit last year versus the Upper Iowa game. It was like, whoa, we were not ready for this many people to show up.
Yeah, and I think with it being the second year, always the second time around, it's always going to be a little better. But I think still the crowds are going to be unbelievable. The energy at Bearcat Arena is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be great to see those 7 different teams, or 7 different games, I should say, occur, and it's just going to be a great environment the entire time.
And you can get more information for the Central Region Tournament at BearcatSports.com. It's team information, tickets, and all that stuff. You guys will be broadcasting the game here in KNWT Channel 8, also online through BearcatSports.com if you can't make the game. So thank you for watching on KZLX and KNWT Channel 8. I'm Devin Albertson, and we will see you next week on Story Behind the Story.